Hi everyone, welcome back to Living Wisdom and Dharma World. Today we're going to explore an interesting and often misunderstood topic in Buddhist history: the relationship between Chinese Esoteric Buddhism and Tibetan Vajrayana, sometimes called Tantric Buddhism. Both traditions share a common origin in Indian Mahayana and Tantric teachings, yet they developed very differently in China and Tibet. Understanding these similarities and differences can help us see how Buddhism adapts to culture while preserving its deepest insights. Much of what we will discuss comes from teachings preserved in texts like the Mahavairocana Sutra, the Mahavairocana Sutra, and the Guhyasamaja Tantra, which form part of the Tantric foundation of both traditions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to inspire others on their path of discovery. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflections may spark meaningful conversations and mutual growth. Together, let's start our exploration. Shared origins in Indian Tantric Buddhism. To begin, we need to go back to India between the 6th and 9th centuries. During this time, Mahayana Buddhism was evolving new ritual and meditative methods intended to accelerate the path to enlightenment. These teachings were known as Mantrayana or Tantrayana. They emphasized mantra recitation, visualization of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, sacred diagrams called mandalas, ritual initiations, and the idea that enlightenment could be realized more rapidly through skillful methods. One important text from this period, the Mahavairocana Sutra, describes the cosmic Buddha Vairocana as the source of all awakened wisdom. In that scripture, we find a statement that captures the heart of esoteric practice. The mind itself is Buddha. When the mind is known as it truly is, enlightenment is immediately realized. Another influential teaching appears in Tantric traditions connected with the Guhyasamaja Tantra, which emphasizes the union of wisdom and skillful means as the path to awakening. From India, these teachings spread outward into East Asia and Tibet. But once they arrived, they evolved in distinct ways. The development of Chinese Esoteric Buddhism. Chinese Esoteric Buddhism flourished during the Tang Dynasty, particularly in the 8th century. Three great masters played a crucial role in transmitting these teachings from India to China. They were the Indian monks Subhakrasimha and Vajrabhati, along with Vajrabhati's disciple Amoghavajra. These teachers translated important tantric scriptures into Chinese and established ritual systems centered on the Mahavairocana Buddha. Amoghavajra in particular became one of the most influential monks of the Tang court. He performed rituals believed to protect the empire, avert disasters, and bring blessings to the state. Chinese Esoteric Buddhism was sometimes called Zhenyan Buddhism, meaning the true word school, referring to mantra. In this tradition, practice centered around three key elements, sometimes called the three mysteries: body, speech, and mind. Through mudra gestures of the hands, mantra recitation with the voice, and visualization in the mind, practitioners align themselves with the enlightened body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. One famous passage from the Mahavairocana Sutra describes this transformation. By uniting one's body, speech, and mind with the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha, one realizes the same awakening. However, Chinese Buddhism already had strong philosophical traditions, such as the Chan Buddhism and the Tiantai schools. Because of this, esoteric practices in China were often integrated into broader Buddhist practice, rather than forming a completely separate tradition. Over time, the independent Zhenyan school declined after the fall of the Tang Dynasty. Though many esoteric rituals continued to exist within Chinese Buddhist temples. The development of Tibetan Vajrayana. Meanwhile, the same tantric teachings traveled to Tibet, where they took root in a very different environment. The introduction of Buddhism to Tibet began during the 7th century, under the Tibetan king Songtsen Gampo. Later, during the 8th century, two remarkable teachers helped establish Tantric Buddhism in Tibet: the Indian abbot Shantrakshita and the great Tantric master Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava, often called Guru Rinpoche, became one of the most revered figures in Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan tradition credits him with subduing obstacles and establishing tantric practice throughout the region. Unlike China, Tibet adopted Tantric Buddhism as the core structure of its Buddhist tradition. Over centuries, Tibet developed elaborate lineages of initiation, meditation systems, philosophical commentary, and monastic institutions. Several major Tibetan schools emerged, including the Nyingma, Kagyu, Sakya, and Gelug traditions. Each preserved tantric teachings while developing unique meditation methods. One famous instruction from Padmasambhava expresses the spirit of Vajrayana practice. Though my view is as vast as the sky, my conduct is as careful as fine barley flour. This means that while the ultimate realization is boundless emptiness and awareness, ethical discipline and careful practice remain essential. Shared principles of the two traditions. Despite their differences, Chinese Esoteric Buddhism and Tibetan Vajrayana share several core principles. Both traditions see enlightenment not as something distant, but as something already present within the mind. The purpose of tantric practice is to recognize and actualize that inherent Buddhahood. Both use the methods of mantra, mudra, and mandala visualization to transform ordinary perception into sacred awareness. Both traditions also emphasize initiation, sometimes called empowerment, which allows a student to enter the mandala of a particular Buddha or Bodhisattva. And both traditions emphasize the unity of wisdom and compassion, which in tantric symbolism is sometimes expressed through the union of male and female principles. Important differences in structure and culture. However, the two traditions developed different structures. Chinese Esoteric Buddhism tended to focus more on ritual practice, especially ceremonies for protection, blessings, and state welfare. Tibetan Vajrayana developed comprehensive meditation systems that guide practitioners through stages of visualization, subtle body practices, and direct realization. Another difference lies in the role of the guru. While teachers were important in Chinese esoteric practice, Tibetan Vajrayana placed even greater emphasis on devotion to the spiritual teacher. A famous verse from Tantric teaching says, "The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is Sangha." This statement reflects the belief that the teacher embodies the living transmission of the path. Major practices. In Chinese Esoteric Buddhism, practitioners often focused on rituals dedicated to cosmic Buddhas such as Mahavairocana. These practices included mantra chanting, mudra gestures, and meditation on mandalas representing the enlightened universe. One important ritual system was the womb realm and diamond realm mandalas, which symbolized compassion and wisdom. Tibetan Vajrayana preserved similar mandalas but developed additional meditation systems, such as deity yoga, where practitioners visualize themselves as enlightened deities. Another distinctive Tibetan practice is the use of advanced yogic techniques related to subtle energies and awareness. Despite these differences, the goal remains the same: to transform ordinary perception into awakened wisdom. Great masters and achievers. Both traditions produced remarkable teachers. In China, Amoghavajra became one of the most influential translators and ritual masters in Buddhist history. In Tibet, figures such as Padmasambhava, Milarepa, and later scholars like Tsongkhapa shaped the development of Vajrayana philosophy and practice. These masters demonstrated that tantric teachings were not merely rituals, but profound paths to awakening. Cultural influence. Chinese esoteric Buddhism influenced temple rituals, imperial ceremonies, and artistic traditions across East Asia. It also spread to Japan, where it became the foundation of the Shingon school established by Kukai. Tibetan Vajrayana, meanwhile, shaped nearly every aspect of Tibetan culture, from art and architecture to medicine and philosophy. Its teachings continue to spread globally today through Tibetan teachers and monasteries. Final reflections. When we compare Chinese Esoteric Buddhism and Tibetan Vajrayana, we see two branches growing from the same ancient roots. Both emerged from Indian Tantric Buddhism. Both use powerful symbolic methods to awaken the mind. Both emphasize the unity of wisdom and compassion. Yet their histories remind us that Buddhism adapts to the cultures it enters. In China, esoteric teachings blended with existing Mahayana traditions. In Tibet, they became the central framework of Buddhist practice. But the ultimate goal remains the same in both traditions: the realization of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. As the Mahavairocana Sutra teaches, when the mind awakens to its own true nature, the Buddha is revealed. And that awakening, according to both Chinese and Tibetan masters, is not somewhere far away. It is already present within our own mind. If you found this teaching helpful, please like, subscribe, and share so others can benefit from the Dharma. Feel free to share your reflections in the comments below. May all beings awaken to true peace and liberation.